Hello, it's John Heaton, and today I'm going to continue my series of trying to do my favourite tracks of a certain artist, and today I'm going to do Electric Light Orchestra, who are a British band from Birmingham who started in the early 70s, hit the big time in the mid 70s, and then split up originally in 1986 as a band, and then Jeff Lynne came back with solo work, and then a couple of albums in later years called Jeff Lynne's Electric Light Orchestra. So I have considered every album and every solo album for this top 40. And as you'll see, several songs, when I've read out my top 40, there are several songs which didn't make the list. So again, another reflection on the quality of this band's catalogue, just like the previous people I reviewed on this channel, in my opinion anyway. So let's get straight into it. The top 40, and coming in at number 40 is a great rocker from 1976's New World Record. And this was actually a song which had been recorded with The Move 5 years earlier, and then Jeff Lynne thought it'd be nice to do it for ELO's audience because many of them weren't aware of the earlier version, so they redid it, and it's great. It's one to be played loud. Number 39 is a disco hit from this album, Discovery, Last Train to London. And I think this song is catchy as hell and works better than the opening single, Shine a Little Love, which is also disco oriented, but this one works better for me and is a pretty creditable effort at doing disco. Number 38, we've got the track from the last track, or the second to last track, from Jeff Lynne's Armchair Theatre album from 1989, and I just want to show you what this is on glorious white vinyl. Look at that, brilliant. Picked that up a couple of years ago, and that is a storming track, up there with ELO's very best ballads, and easily the best track on that album, and better than anything he's done in later years, in my opinion. Next we've got, and I don't have the album to show you, but it's from El Dorado, and it's the song Boy Blue. El Dorado is an album which I haven't really warmed to as a complete piece of work. I think it's got its moments, and Boy Blue is certainly a very catchy track, and you'll see there's another track from this album which features quite a lot higher. Number 36, we're back to Another World Record and the beginning song of side 2, and this was the superb picture which came with New World Record on the lyric sheet, and on the new vinyl it's just recorded as a kind of standalone insert. And So Fine is just one of those tracks which wasn't a single but could easily have been, and I think it's great arrangement and great musicianship. By the way, I just want to hats off to the main lineup of Mick Kaminsky on violin, Hugh McDowell cello, Melvin Gale cello, Richard Tandy keyboards, Kelly Graucut on bass and backing vocals, Jeff Lynne guitar, vocals, piano as well. I think he played keyboards as well as Richard Tandy. Anyway, I know Jeff Lynne wrote all the songs, and he deserves the vast majority of the credit for this band, but also the contributions of Bev Bevan on drums. Did I mention him? And I don't think I did. And the others should not be underestimated. I think they work really well together as a band, and some of the videos from this era are timeless in featuring all the expanded lineup. So anyway, that was just about the band. Now we've got 35, a track from Time, Hold On Tight. Now this is one of Jeff Lynne's kind of rock and roll type tracks, which I think become a little repetitive over the years, or have become a little repetitive, but this one works pretty well, better than other songs in the same genre, such as Rattled from the Travelling Wilburys, or Rock and Roll is King from Secret Messages. I think this one works really well. Hold on tight to your dream, when you see your boat is sailing, when you see your heart is bruising, hold on tight to your dream. And then rather cleverly he sings the chorus in French, accrochez-toi à ton rêve, quand tu veux t'en bâtir, partir, Quand tu veux ton cœur se brise et accroche-toi à ton rêve. I think that's right. So that was nice to see. Number 34, we've got, this is my alternative copy of On the Third Day with the alternative cover, which is quite nice. I think I marginally prefer this to the one where they're just standing looking at the camera. Anyway, this track is called Bluebird is Dead, and I was listening to this the other day. It's one of those lost ballads from ELO's career, which doesn't really get talked about, but you can see the chord changes are just pure Jeff Lynne, and nice use of strings as always, and I love it. Number 33, we're back to time, and The Rain is Falling, first track side 2. Lovely piano, The Rain, and a very appropriate song for today and this whole month really of May 2021, just been endless rain. So a bit like It Was Raining Again from Supertramp, this is a song for the current times. And it's a great track. It wasn't a single. 32, we're going to move to, if I can find it, Discovery from 1979, and the third track on side 1, I Need Her Love, which I think has got a glorious ballad, a glorious melody, should I say. Goes on quite a fair amount of time, but doesn't really outstay its welcome. Lovely tune, could have been a single perhaps, but wasn't. They didn't tend to choose ballads for their singles on the whole, though with a couple of exceptions, as we'll see. Number 31, we're going to move to Out of the Blue, and it's pretty significant. On 31, I've chosen Birmingham Blues from side 4, and I think of the whole of the album, there's only 2 tracks which didn't make my top 40, so that is a mark of the supreme quality of Out of the Blue as a double album. And Birmingham Blues may not be one of the highlights, but it's still fantastic, and Play It Loud, got great guitar solo in the middle from Jeff. Here Is the News, we're back to time, and there was a hilarious video in the newsroom of all the band members picking up the phone and sending faxes and stuff, and that was quite amusing. And it's an upbeat track with synthesizers to the fore, but it's quite effective. 29, actually 27 equal. I've chosen 3 tracks which go together from Out of the Blue, because in some cases I think the tracks from Out of the Blue just belong together, just maybe because I've always heard them together, but I've chosen Starlight, Believe Me Now, and Jungle, or that should be, sorry, Starlight, Jungle, Believe Me Now. I think they work really well together on side 2. And yeah, I mean, all of it. Starlight's a great ballad, Jungle is just an infectious romp through the jungle with the brilliant sound effects, and Believe Me Now is a lovely instrumental with great orchestral overdubs done in Munich, I think, or Germany somewhere, I can't remember exactly. 26 will also stay with Out of the Blue, and the first track from side 4, Sweet Is the Night. Now this is one of the songs which didn't make it onto 45, but this album came out in 77, and it was one of the first albums I ever owned, and I just played it to death. And a track like this, I just think is woefully underrated. And you know, when the day is done and there's nowhere to run, and the people of the city have all lost and won, in your city dress you stand and stare, and you smoke another cigarette and comb your hair. I love the story it tells, and culminating in the glorious chorus. And then it's only 4th equal, I've got Turn to Stone and It's Over, which are the 1-2 punch beginning of Out of the Blue, and talk about great beginnings. Turn to Stone was a reasonably successful single in the fall of 77, but not huge compared to some of the later singles from the album, I don't think. And It's Over is just a perfect second track on an album, and glorious tune and well sung with good backing vocals from Kelly Graucut, and just wonderful start to a great album. Number 23, we're back to time with The Lights Go Down, which is an underrated track from side 2. Number 22, we've got Confusion from Discovery, the second track, which was a return to form after the slightly disappointing opening track, Shine a Little Love. So Confusion is back to what they do best, just singing great melodies, etc., and catchy songs. Although Shine a Little Love is catchy, it's not really in their style too much, or I didn't think so. Number 21, we're back to On the Third Day, and this storming rocker, Ma 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 Bell, which is not just so much, you know, when Jeff Lynne normally did rock songs, he'd do like rock and roll pastiches, but this is a serious rocker about the rockiest thing he ever did, and with a great guitar riff. And again, play this one loud. I think it was a minor hit, but nothing to write home about, but I love it. Number 20, we're back to Time, and great cover, by the way. Love the cover there. And actually, in general, I love this album. I think it's really underrated. I know people talk about Out of the Blue and New World Record, but I think Time is almost as good. And number 20 I've chosen is This the Way Life's Meant to Be, from side 1. I particularly love I think it's a guitar solo played on the lower notes of the scale, and it could be keyboard, but I think it's guitar. But I just love the song. And number 19, we're back to Discovery, and it's the final track, Don't Bring Me Down, and that could have easily been higher on the list. And once we now get into the top echelons of their work, the top 20, you'll agree with me probably that some of these could have been ranked higher or lower, as the case may be. It's very difficult to choose, if you've ever tried, to choose favourite tracks amongst from a band who you adore most of the output of, particularly their best songs. Number 18, we've got, and Don't Bring Me Down is just superb. The video's not very good, mind you. 18, Ticket to the Moon. Remember the good old 1980s when things were so uncomplicated. I wish I could go back there again and everything would be the same. It's funny to hear that song because it was written in 1981, and here we are in 2021, 40 years later. Remember the good old 1980s? Well, yes, I do, but not too fondly in general. I think it was a decade where I didn't really like the music output compared to the 70s, but this album came out in 81 and is brilliant. 17, we're back to Discovery with probably the best ballad on that album, Midnight Blue, and amongst the best of their entire career. Again, another sort of would-be single, which wasn't a single. Very, very good melody, and trademark backing vocals. Superb. Evil Woman from Face the Music, with the interesting back cover with the eyes there. This was their breakthrough album. Well, they were successful before, but this album went really big, and Evil Woman was a big hit single, and it's quite simply built around this simple piano riff, which, again, it sounds simple, but you try writing a song, and often it's the most simple songs, the simplest songs, which are the hardest to write. And I know Paul McCartney's a big fan of this song, and I'm sure a lot of people are, although the lyrics are a bit vindictive. Not sure who they're aimed at, a real-life person or some fictional person. But anyway, Shangri-La is next, number 15, from the last track from New World Record. And I just love everything about this track. You know, my Shangri-La has gone away, faded like the Beatles on Hey Jude. She seemed to drift out on the rain that came in somewhere softly from the blue. I'm Getting Out of Love. It's a song to die for, really. Number 14, we've got One Summer Dream, the last track from here again, Face the Music. And I think Jeff Lynne's mother was listening to this one day and complimenting his son on the chord changes, which was nice to hear. It's a great song. Number 13, we've got Telephone Line from New World Record. Huge hit single, brilliant song, but maybe I've heard it a touch too much, hence it's not higher on the list. Same goes for number 12, Mr. Blue Sky. They're both fantastic tracks, those last two, but maybe I've heard them a tad too much, but it's a masterpiece. And I've got number 11, Summer and Lightning, just preceding Mr. Blue Sky, because those songs go so well together on Out of the Blue. Number 10, I've got a ballad from Time, 21st Century Man, and this is probably my all-time favourite ELO ballad, in the top 3, so we say that. A penny in your pocket, a suitcase in your hand, they don't get you very far when you're a 21st century man. I just love it. Number 8, we've got the opening couple of tracks from Face the Music with Far and High and Waterfall. And for those of you who are not familiar with that album, check it out, because it's almost as good as New World Record and Out of the Blue, in my opinion. Some people prefer it, and that guitar on Far and High is just absolutely stunning, and then Waterfall comes in with amazing chords on the piano from Richard Tandy, and Jeff Lynne singing his usual great melody, and check that one out. Number 7, I've got the huge hit from, I think it was a top 5 hit, number 3 I think, from Out of the Blue, Sweet Talking Woman, 1978, came out spring of, I think. And again, I've heard it a little too much, but it's still an absolute classic. And number 6 I've got from El Dorado, Can't Get It Out of My Head, which is, well, it must be in my top 3 ballads, because I've only got 2 ballads ahead of this on my list. It was one of the first songs I ever got into from ELO, because I bought 3 Light Years, and there was a single to promote 3 Light Years which had this song, Evil Woman, Strange Magic, and One Summer Dream, I think was the other one, or Evil Woman. And so I got into this song pretty early on, and it's just, yeah, well, as one critic said, the UK public took heed of the song's title and couldn't get it out of his head, and it was a pretty sizable hit. Number 5 is the last song on side 2 of Out of the Blue, Stepping Out, and he did this on a documentary recently with Richard Tandy, and he redid it, and he said something about he wasn't happy with the arrangements on Out of the Blue, but I don't see anything wrong with the arrangements. I think the glorious use of orchestra and the expanded band with the cellos and stuff, Stepping Out is another song which wasn't a single. You won't see it on the greatest hits, which is why I would urge you to try and buy the albums rather than the greatest hits if you can, or the best albums, Out of the Blue, New World Record, Face of Music, Time, in my opinion. Number 4, we've got the opening track of New World Record, Tightrope, which is just a masterpiece in its construction, from the opening cello, with the drums coming in, lead guitar, they say some days you're going to win, they say some days you're going to lose. Well, I tell you, I got news for you. And then, you know, the whole song builds up with the chorus, and then the piano chords from Richard Tandy ending the song very tastefully, and it's just a masterpiece. Sorry to use the same superlatives repeatedly. Number 2 and 3 equal. We've got Standing in the Rain and Big Wheels, which was the so-called Concerto for a Rainy Day from Out of the Blue, which took up the whole of side 3, and play this one loud. Standing in the Rain is just sensational, and Big Wheels is a superb ballad. In fact, there's more ballads than I remembered in my top 10. There's quite a few, but I see it in conjunction with Standing in the Rain. And I almost put Concerto for a Rainy Day, all 4 of them together, as my top 4 tracks from the whole catalogue, but I ended up splitting it. But it's just, you know, Out of the Blue is such a consistent album. And number 1, I've got Wild West Hero from the same album. In fact, it closes the album. And it's got those glorious chord changes. It's got matchless harmonies from the band, from Kelly and Jeff. It's got a pretty good video to go with it, not brilliant, but I just love the message of the song, and mainly the melody and the way Jeff sings it. I think it's really affecting, and I remember a guy at school playing this song absolutely repeatedly, day after day, for about 2 weeks. So that really got me into it. Didn't drive me mad. It actually was the opposite. I was thinking, this is a good song. Who is this? And then so I shortly thereafter discovered Electric Light Orchestra. So that was my top 40 ELO songs. Sorry if you didn't agree. It's only my opinion. And just give you a couple of seconds to look at that. And it could change, of course, from month to month, day to day. But that's how it is today, May 2021. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.